All right, welcome in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and a little bit late today, working on technical issues. And the good news is, I mean, you have three of the most technologically savvy people working on this, and the guy who has the issue is the guy who is by far age the most savvy of all of us. So we all know our guy Anthony Schlegel, who is dressed today as if he's an extra in like the new Rock Red One Santa Claus movie, and him looking confused, dressed up with a wig and some sort. I mean, it's he looks like he's out of the damn Wizard of Oz, dude. It's remarkable.
It's pretty. Yeah. Watching Schlegs get even more and more frustrated and upset while he's wearing a costume, it makes it that much better.
Really does. So we're a week out from Christmas. How excited are the kids? We got all the presents done. Like, what's your level of involvement with all that?
So my level of involvement has actually gone down over the years. Like my wife has been on it earlier and earlier, getting things situated and everything for, extended family and my family. But we're looking good right now. Obviously, it's kind of a chaotic time for anyone I think who has kids around this time of year. But it's an awesome time. But I think we're ahead of schedule, which is surprising. I still have a few more things I need to get for some people, but I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, that's good. I mean, so who do you shop for? Like your parents or like brothers? Like,
my parents, we've already exchanged stuff with them. Laura does a lot of that because they actually said they sent my parents say, hey, send us what you guys like and what the kids like, and then they send us what they want. And so boom, you just go on, click the link.
yeah,
Pistol, my dad always wants like golf things so he can help his, shooting 125 and up. So he gets different golf things every year, but yeah, I got to get my wife a few more things. I always like to get her a few things extra that she maybe didn't ask for that I think might be cool.
you think she might want / need is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like stuff I get from my kids as well. I give it before I even give it to them. Like, hey, I think you're really going to like this, and they're like, what do you mean? I said, because I like it, and if you don't, I'm going to use it.
That's a really good philosophy. So kind of buying it for yourself. Where are we buying those things? Like a Walmart, a Sheets? I feel like the last minute gifts, AJ, like CVS, you might be just kind of cruising around, see
Yellow
something.
Jacket, trucker pills, baby. Buy those.
Yep, those are good. Those are good Christmas gifts. They definitely are.
Like this, stocking stuffers, baby.
Yeah, because that's what your kids need more of, AJ. Give them those Yellow Jacket trucker pills, and then you know what? Say, hey, Laura, sorry, I got to go run Hendrix to practice, but I did give Axe and Vetter a couple of those Yellow Jackets. I'll see you at 2:30 in the morning when they're still awake.
Maybe we'll give it to my kids before their games. See how they play. They might gas out after the first quarter or so, but they'd have a heck of a run.
No, run that full court trap press, AJ, be all over it. I mean, just think of the energy that they'd be able to expend.
And then you could even get some of that DMSO and like sprinkle it on there, right? And like rub it into their body. How about that? That'd really get them cooking.
Everybody doesn't know about DMSO, Schlegs. I've had to explain to some people what it is and how it works and everything. I know that's a different show, but yeah, that's a thing of the past, I believe.
I know we need to bring that back.
Everybody's gone soft now, and here's the thing, Age. I heard some of the talked to some folks in college football, to some different places, and some of the people at the Woody, and everybody complains about the kids today, the players, young players, and why they are the way they are. Like I can hear you opening that drink.
Yeah. My buddy gave this to me for Christmas. It's called Bucked Up. And you know what I immediately thought of? That one song, like, Nuck, if you buck, why Nuck, if you buck? And I'm just like, yeah, man. And I mean, I've been going hard in the paint since like 4:30. I came in here and my traps and neck when I was getting out of the shower, just like, man, that ain't right. Like we got to get bumpy. So I was like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to feed myself some, 700-pound plus shrugs, just eat them and then drop set like 10 reps all the way down to 1. And then I was supersetting it with some neck. And then I just got done training the Columbus Fury and we had a Christmas party. I was obviously, Buddy the Elf, and Santa, I know him. And it was amazing,
I completely forgot where I was going to go with this now, what I was going to ask you. But the good news is
DMSO, people being soft.
Oh, yeah. So they're talking and like, when the coach was telling me, he's like, it's not even these kids' fault. And when I started talking to some of the players, I'm like, it really isn't. I'm like, your parents are around our age now, which AJ is crazy to think like these guys come through. Their parents like, oh yeah, I remember watching you. I was a senior when you were a freshman. I'm like, you got a kid in college, like that makes perfect sense. But in 4 years, I mean, RJ will be there, so I get it. But it's like my dad probably stopped telling me he loved me when I was like 8 years old, and never really like kissed or hugged me really after that. And when it's like handshakes at 7th grade. And so he goes, that's why like you are the way you are and you're tough. Because most people that were like that, then they've turned, he's like, and we've ruined our kids where we've affirmed everything and everything's always the best. Just my dad didn't love me, so I'm going to over love you. I give you hugs, maybe kiss on the lips, which I've seen like older guys do that with their dad. And it's, I mean, I'm not judging anything, but that's kind of weird to me.
That's
My dad always brings that up when my mom's like, give him a hug. He's like, we kiss him on the lips too, you know? So, I mean, so that's really, he's like, your generation is the one that ruined these guys. He's like, it's not even their fault because they didn't know any different.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get it, but there's got to be some kind of healthy balance. Would say I can still hug my kids and tell them I love them, but they can also be tough, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. But it is weird. Parenting's tough because like sometimes the more I do for them, I'm hurting them. You know, you got to let them figure it out a lot of times, and that's a constant thing you try to figure out.
I think that you can, you know, parenting is a lot like coaching, and they're all different, but the standard's always the same. And now, you know, again, I have an 18-year-old, right? I got a senior in high school. So I'm like, these guys, like I'm coaching my own son.
Kiss him on the lips, legs?
Absolutely not. No, but I hug him. He doesn't like, you know, give me a big hug. My youngest does, right? My daughter is like a side hug. When she really loves me, like she'll give me a real hug. I'm like, hug
because
me like
your daughter's the one that's just like Schlegs, AJ.
Yeah, I'm like, hug me like a dudette, you know? And Hunter, I would say this though, man, like, you know, when we talk about Christmas and we're that's amazing. Yeah, Raj, man, that's so beautiful. How do you have that big? Anyways,
we'll get into that later.
Mean, okay, so you know we were at like Hunter's awesome, man. He's like calling up, hey mom, like what can I get dad for Christmas? Like I want to buy with my own money, and Hunter and Faith are at that age.
Hey, that parlay cash, Legs. You know,
yeah, exactly. That parlay from the UFC Tampa fight. He won his 4-fight parlay. Anyways, but he wants that. And I was like, son, literally, this is all I want. I want your time. Like, I just want to spend time with you. Like, I enjoy, we watch shows together. We'll go to a movie together. We went to UFC Tampa together. Like, I just like do it. Like, we hunt together. I'm like, dude, just listen, man. Do that. Just keep being you. Right? Because, again, he's all into ball. So, like, he's going to the iCryo. He's doing his hitting stuff. They're still practicing ball. Like, him and his teammates go and do that. I'm like, hey, you're a bona fide dude, man. You handle your business, and let's go. Like, I just want your time. Like, really, that's what I care about. But there is a balance, right, where you got to be hard on them, but you also got to say, I love you, and I got your back when you do fall, but I'm going to be stern, I'm going to be fair, and that comes with being clear and concise, your wife, you know, and you on the same page so they're not getting mixed signals.
Do you think he has a hard time interpreting those mixed signals when you're talking about that dressed as Buddy the Elf?
Doesn't matter. I just got done training, you know, professional volleyball players like this. I melted their faces off for an hour and 35 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, play big at the net, right? Like, you know, I'm like, you guys are going to do stuff like the men do. We're going to fucking dominate. You know what I mean? Let's freaking go. Buddy the Elf style. He did that. Candy. Yeah, he did, man. He walked through the like the forest with the lollipops and the gumdrops and the ooey gooey gumdrops all the way down to find his dad. You don't think Buddy the Elf was game? He's a red-nosed pit. Red-nosed pit bull. Well, Buddy the Elf.
You know why? Because his dad, Khan, I mean, he was not the warmest dad.
Remember that? Yeah. He spanked him, and he was all kind of like, you know, like this. And he was giving Buddy the old spanking. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
All right, I think Khan's gone too. I mean, he's Buddy's dad. These are not with us.
There's no better gift than parenting and coaching, man. It's so fun, serving all the time. You guys are good dads, man. I see the way. You know, Bob, you just took your daughter to New York. That's a great experience. I know we're not talking about this, but just so you guys know, because we're talking about the Buckeyes, this stuff resonates with them, right? We still remember and recall Fick, and most of the stories that AJ and I remember of Fick is him ripping your ass, Bob, which is fantastic. Yeah. But Fick was transparent. He was honest. Like and those relationships have lasted now 20 years.
Exactly. You're lucky there wasn't a portal then, Schlegs. I would have gotten the portal 8 times, probably just portaled around the world. You know, the whole time after every fight at practice, when he kicked me out, I would have headed right in, found the portal, and just dove right into that thing like Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Age,
what a good song.
Schlegs, Age is going to be down there on the sideline for the game, correct? You guys are doing the mega cast with Pat?
Ooh.
Yep. We'll be, I think it's on ESPN2. We'll be doing like an alternate sideline thing. So, yeah, we're going to make sure I bring a coat and some gloves. But I can't wait, man. I think the atmosphere is going to be amazing.
I thought you told me no sleeves. When it's game day, it's no sleeves, right? Cut off sleeves.
I'm not playing ball. That's the thing. It's one thing to play. You're moving and doing stuff. To actually stand still and sit there, no. I'll be dressed for the elements. Hopefully, we'll see.
Oh, Pat sleeves. You're gonna be running around pumping the crowd the whole time, getting that juice going, talking to James. I mean, you'll love it. You need to get over there, getting the linebacker huddles. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. And Schleggs has heard it, and some of the things that those guys say. It's strangely refreshing to see those guys talk to each other. And last night I was over at Price. You want to break it down? Like, no, man, that's I got nothing for you today. But to hear the things that they say and how awkward and mildly inappropriate they are, it warmed my heart and soul, because I didn't think like people talked like that anymore, the way that we used to talk to each other.
That's good. Honestly, I love hearing that, and the fact that James is keeping that going, and with his authenticity and how transparent he is, and obviously his similarities to Luke Fickell as a coach. I think that's a great thing. They're in great hands over there.
Hey, tell us about this. So, I mean, you're going to be doing the game. You're obviously all up in the weeds. What's your take, man? Tennessee, Ohio State in the shoe, first time ever in December on the banks of the motherfreaking Olentangy River that I swam one night. Going back to my truck at, Varsity Inn or whatever, Village Inn back then when Hamby's apartment. Anyways, what's your take? What are you thinking?
Well, with that being said, how you laid it out, Schleggs, I think it's a good game. I think it's going to be a great matchup. What Tennessee does, like Tennessee is a team that feels like I'm sure they can come into elements like this, and their game is set up well. They obviously stop the run. They got a big interior D line that plays well, and they can run the ball, and they can throw when they need to. So I think the matchup's awesome. I think, our path to the national championship is not an easy one, but that's great. Like if you find a way to get there, you're going to be calloused, and you're going to have some huge victories in some unique atmosphere. I think different places to kind of harden your team. So I can't wait. Honestly, I think it's cool. The Notre Dame Indiana game Friday night is going to be fun to watch, and then all the games leading up to Saturday night. It's going to be an awesome weekend.
Are you guys doing the mega cast for that too? Back to back, double dong?
No, game day will be at Notre Dame. I know Pat's going there, but no, we're not doing an alternate deal for that game. Just Ohio State this week.
That'd be amazing.
All right, that's good. I'm excited to see you down there on the sideline. I'm going to be at the game. Schleggs is going to be in the confines of somewhere nice and warm, toasty, looking like Buddy the Elf, drinking syrup and hot cocoa or whatever he's got going on. Maybe some of that stuff they had down in the mailroom, some of the special scissor. To get you juiced up. So, Age, there was the news, and Schleggs and I will get into this a little bit later. You had our guy Dan Orlovsky on. Dan and Pat are obviously buddies, talking about potential landing spot for Vrabes. Pat gets the OHIO going. I mean, Dan doesn't shoot it down, but I've tried to tell people, like, if Vrabes wanted to coach in college, Vrabes would be coaching in college. When he left here in 2013, I believe, like, he was gone not to come back. I don't think he has any desire to do that from the people that I've talked to. So, I mean, you gotta start snapping necks over there.
Yeah, well, how Dan was like presenting the information did seem like he acted like he knew something that everyone else didn't know. But yeah, I mean, come on, we know Vrabes is the man. We love Vrabes. I think Vrabes is going to have his choice of NFL gigs that will be open here shortly. That he's, I'm sure, already talking to some people about. So yeah, I mean, it's just the Bucs go take care of business Saturday night, and then we just keep it rolling. Like, yeah, you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, the hardest thing with me in that whole Vrabes situation, I think with the success that Matt Campbell has had, people are looking at Vrabes as a pro's pro, somebody that can build a culture. Where do you think would be a good fit in the league for Vrabes? Whether it's a job that's open right now or a job that could potentially be open?
Man, anywhere I think that needs some kind of like reset or obviously if you're finding a coach, you want a culture change. You want someone to come in there and fix things. But I heard, who knows what rumors are, but they claim that the Bears are really wanting Vrabes and are going to be talking to him and looking to him. I mean, can you imagine Vrabes in Chicago if he got them rolling again? Like how diehard those people are for a Jim McMahon era Bears team to come out there and be physical and do things like that. I think Vrabes would be perfect for something like that. But anywhere he goes, like, it's going to be fun because we get to watch Vrabes' press conferences, and then you get to hear the stories that are coming out from him and his other players on how he goes about his business and how he holds guys accountable.
Oh, it'll be tremendous. It'll be like a real Dickus situation up there, and it'll be him and Kevin Warren like hand in hand, like two tough dudes two of the toughest dudes around. And with all that conversation, I've had like 8 texts with people like, where do you think he's going to go? I mean, outside of Ohio State. And my thing with you, AJ, is like, he's going to want alignment. I know in Tennessee, like he didn't necessarily like where some of the things were going. And so when he goes someplace, like, I don't think he wants to be the GM, but him and the GM are going to want to be obviously linearly connected, because when you don't have that, it's a mess. And he's seen it. He's been involved with it. And so at this point, I think he'll have his choice of everything. Age, make sure you stay warm on Saturday night. Excited to see you down there. What time are you going down before the game?
I don't even know yet. That's a great question. I'm trying to figure all that out because it's going to be a madhouse in a good way. So I'm excited for that.
Well, if you want to come over, listen, we put the bikes in the back of the truck. We're going to ride down from North Star through West Campus, looking like ET, just the herd of kids and me. They're all on e-bikes. I'm old school because like I can't afford an e-bike when I buy it for all my kids. So I actually have to do the pedaling. But we'll go down there. Hey, maybe we get some tailgating in beforehand. You know, it'll be looking real good. You can have it you could be Joe Namath and Pat could be like Susie Colbert, and you could kind of recreate that on the sideline. Be a real great situation. It could be good for the fans. It'd be great for people.
I just want to kiss you.
Yeah, why not? Like the old when you're hunting back in the day, you know, like my grandpa said, you gotta he brings a little flask of whiskey just to keep him warm. Maybe I'll need that in the sideline.
Absolutely. I like it. I like your head's that age. Well done, sir. I'm excited. I'll pop down and see you before the game, and I'll bring a little something for you. I know you love orange Gatorade, and maybe
back in the day,
back in the day, bring it back. The cardio and orange Gatorade, you know, just like Quaaludes, bring them on back. It'll be a great time for you. Have a good time. Enjoy it, man. Thanks for coming on with us. I know you got McAfee here ready to go. And as always, you're much more prepared than Schlegs to start the show. So thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Schlegs, great to see you. Buddy the Elf. Good luck, guys. We'll see you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Schlegs, it sounds like AJ wants you to come to the house with the kids to maybe do a full Buddy the Elf appearance, but you're gonna have to shave that beard. You look like an old drunken, like a bad Santa version of Buddy the Elf. But attention, parents and athletes. Hey, hold on. Pause. We got to protect what matters most with Export mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouthguards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits that Schlegs has taken over the years. Protect your teeth and your brain. I wish Schlegs had that to protect his brain back in the day. Export mouthguards have 3 layers of advanced protection. They have patented use of carbon fiber that's 3D printed right to your grill. It means more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, focus on your game, not on your gear. Even though football is over, they're great for hockey, basketball, wrestling, whatever. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby. Lacrosse too. Save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. I mean, Schlegs, what the heck just happened? Like, I mean, did you get in the transfer portal for outfits?
Wardrobe change, man. Yeah. So I saw Andy, right? Garage Beer Andy. He was in the Armory this morning.
He's got a last name. It's Sour, but yes, I love it.
I know. Well, I know his name is Sour, but yeah. So I just changed up. We had home field. Brad, boom, got pizza boxes. They made these shirts right here. I just give you a little boom right there. He made them. So I was like, you know what? I went over to your house, saw your lovely wife, picked these up, dropped off a gift to you. Would love to hear about what was in an envelope because he was like, this is specifically for Bobby. So we had somebody that's in the Fort Worth Fire Department that's a friend of my dad's, Buckeye, and he gave us, and it was funny because I was talking to Court Dog about it, and it's like everybody in, like you and I and Age and everybody else's mind, you're still 265 and I'm still 250, though you're 235 and I'm 225 now, right?
On a good day. I'd like to be 235. I struggle. For lunch legs today, I had chicken bouillon, boiled 20 ounces of that with red pepper flakes and a salad with some chicken on it. That's what I have to eat now, or else I'll explode again. And I don't need to be fat face and all those things. So I'm eating soup out of a mug that doesn't even have. I don't really care for the chicken or the noodles in the chicken noodle soup. I'm just here for the broth. So that's kind of what I've been ingesting.
I've just been eating just like deer jerky and eggs that my processor gave me from his chicken.
Good. Those natural eggs, you're getting big and strong.
Honestly, they're really good. And like when I'm at home or I'm at the farm, it's just like a Spartan life because that's the only thing I can really cook. Like I can toast some bread, throw some jam on there, eat some eggs, eat deer jerky.
So you know what the difference between jelly and jam is?
Man, that jam, it's just like, I don't know what the difference is, but it's smoother. Like it goes on smooth.
It's really tough.
Digging the jam.
Because the jam's got the whole fruit, but it's tough to you can't jelly something into a space. You've got to jam it in there.
Yeah, I like the jam. I mean, you can get really full coverage, right? Full utility of your toast, I think, better with jam than jelly. And I don't know how we got it at the farm. I probably bought it by mistake, right? Because you always just get grape jelly, or I like the strawberry jelly.
Grape jelly is far superior.
I don't know, man. I like to spice it up, man. Keep those taste buds guessing.
Yeah. Okay. Keep those. All right. I mean, whatever it takes, Schlegs. I mean, I'm here for you. I'm just trying to help. I'm glad we got the computer situation figured out. It's just a classic restart situation. And that took care of everything for you?
It did, man. It's terrible. I mean, I'm here. I'm prepared. I'm freaking ready to go. I'm the first guy into Doomajink, and then I can't get in. I got no snare in my headphones. Dave Chappelle style. And Poof David Copperfield, I got up here, Buddy the Elf, straight from the North Pole, looking for his dad. But it's all right. We got the Buckeyes this week, man. We got the Buckeyes this week. I feel good about our guys, bro. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to pop over there today, Bob.
Well, that's good. I've got radio today, so I try to get over. They'll probably be off the field. The thing is tough, that weather. And this is one of the things.
They're early.
What?
Yeah, they're early.
Well, Tuesday's the long practice. I was over there yesterday. Reese was over there. Charles Bentley, your boy, LeChuck was there.
He's awesome.
Well, yeah, large human being. I mean, he's not like bulky anymore, but he probably weighs about 265, just raw power.
Charles is a freaking monster. He was a monster in college. He's still a monster. It's like Eddie, just like God was just like, here's unbelievable genetics. Boom, Poof David Copperfield. And he works his face off. He's up at St. Ed's, right? Or Ignatius.
Oh, don't you misidentify him. So his son, he moved back because his son wanted to go to Ignatius, which is where he went. And I told him, I go, you better take it back over. Like the St. Ed's folks up there, they think they're running Cleveland. And he was talking to some of the guys like, man, like, where's he from? And I told Arvell, he's a Cleveland dude. And he's like, what? I go, yeah, he went to St. Ignatius. Like, looked at me like sideways. I go, listen, man, not all guys that went to the diocese like CJ, who went to Altar, are soft. Like Charles was a dude, went there, and CJ obviously laughed at that and found it mildly funny. But Arvell had no idea he was a Cleveland guy. I'm like, bro, he's like one of the OGs from Cleveland. Like, don't. It doesn't matter where you go to school. Charles Bentley is one tough son of a gun.
Dude, he had that staph infection. Dude,
the staph ate his leg off, or else he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Bro, for sure. I mean, LaCharles is just a different animal. Does a phenomenal job with all the guys that are going to the league, and then he's coaching his kid. What a great technician, great person, man, great Buckeye.
Yeah, but the weather. So here's the problem. And we'll get into this a little bit more. We talked some yesterday about how Tennessee was practicing inside, and Ohio State went outside, but it was 50 degrees. Now it started getting colder when the sun went down. It was probably when I left practice, I'm guessing in the high 30s. It's getting a little colder today, so it's like you're leaning into the cold, but it's a little rainy, a little rough, but you want to make sure that you're getting outside and getting involved in the elements. And I mean, I used to loathe Bill Belichick for this, but we always practiced outside. Like it was terrible. And if it was rain, he's like, we're going to play in the rain. We're going to play outside. I'm like, Bill, we're playing in Miami this week. Like, can we go in the indoor? Like, we don't need to be outside. Like, it doesn't matter. But they went outside all the time. The indoor was really only used in the off season. And there's an element to getting used to that. And just like no matter what's going on, like who cares what the weather's like? We're playing in it all day. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna explain the why, because I think sometimes
give us the why about that, Schlegs.
Again, every time you do things right, like Ohio State, we don't condition at the end of practice. Like you build it in to practice. Why? Because when you go out there, you're gonna be playing in a game. It's just another thing that you have to overcome to be mentally sharp, right? So not only are you like knowing and dissecting and digesting what you're doing for that week in the game plan, you're also dealing with another outside element that you have to defend off to stay locked in. Like that's the why, man. Just overcoming something. The more I stress the body and the mind, the better I'll play in the game. And it's the same conversation that I was having with these ladies. I'm like, listen, man, every time I'm working on these things, like defend your 8x8 box at the net and this shit, I'm like, you got to go as hard as you possibly can. I've watched your practice. Every time has to be a great rep. You got to work and be and bend and play and fatigue in the position that you're going to play in the game. You can't just snap your finger. Like you said earlier, there's a great rock song, Snap Your Finger, Snap Your Neck, way back in the day. Love that one. But like you can't just flip the switch and all of a sudden go do that. As a coach, as a parent, you want to put those things in front of your kids or your players so that they can overcome this every single time. Just like live bullets matter, that matters in practice. Be sharp regardless of the element, regardless of the circumstances. That's kind of the why behind it, as opposed to like, oh, we're just going to go in because we're playing Miami.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, that's part of it. Like you want to make sure that, yeah, you're doing everything you need, obviously, to be successful. You're putting a good spot. All those things play into it. And so that's, you go out and experience the elements, you condition during practice, and that way, you're not detached from it. I honestly feel pretty good about this game. We'll get into a little bit more of it on Thursday and Friday, but the big key is we talked about, and I think we touched on this yesterday, how Ryan Day said that Luke Montgomery is going to have a bigger role. And so how does that look? He's going to be playing at left guard. Like, does Austin Servo play at right guard? Do him and Tegra Shabola rotate? Like, what does that whole situation look like? And how does that play out? I mean, is there a rotation with all three spots? It's going to be very interesting to kind of see and find and figure that out. I'm excited to watch how that's going to go down. Should be pretty good, but I think that'll be a big difference on the inside. If you can run some no huddle, you can get some tempo stuff going early on. You run some screens. I brought this up. I don't know, did I talk to you about it yesterday or not?
We talked about tempo. We talked about screens. I mean,
the Charlie Weiss, did we bring? I'm losing my mind. I've done so many shows.
No, you did not. You did not bring up the Charlie Weiss thing. Go ahead.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to put a pin in this because I'm going to bring it back. And we played Notre Dame in 2005. I guess it was in 6 season, 5 seasons, 6 year. Notre Dame played Tennessee earlier in the year. And we watched that film, and there was something that we pulled out of there that they did. And he's like, be ready for this just in case. This is something that Ohio State could utilize here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back into the show here. Please, if you're liking or watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave your comments, questions. We're going to get through those. I was just talking to Pat. We got a lot of good ones to get through today in Tailgate Talk, so we're going to get through this pretty quick here. But it was something, Schlegs, that I brought up. I think I was talking to Austin Warren Berm about this. And I don't know if you remember, we were watching the film of Notre Dame's offense, and they were playing Tennessee, and Tennessee's defense was really good, very similar to ours, very fast. And they opened the game. Do you remember what they did, what Charlie Weiss did in this?
Was it a wide receiver screen?
Well, they opened with a wide receiver screen, but the entire first drive, I think they ended with a field goal. They ran every type of screen imaginable. Wide receiver screen, inside screen, tunnel screen, jet screen, bubble screen, like outside, every tight end screen, just to get their defensive line running. And they kind of did it with tempo so they couldn't sub. And then I think they hit them with a couple runs in there as well. But they ran like 6 or 7 screens in the first drive. And I remember looking at Fick, I'm like, is this a screen cut up? He's like, no, this is the opening drive. And he's like, so be prepared. Like, they'll do stuff like this. They know we're fast. They know we pursue incredibly hard to the football. And in doing that, like, you can open yourself up to kind of stuff on the backside, anytime reverse, counter, throwback, things like that. But also, it wears you down. Mm-hmm. And when you don't sub, if you can get in a personnel grouping, if you're Ohio State, and be able to kind of get after them like that, and you wear them down, like, sometimes you don't recover. And then obviously you're kind of paranoid looking for like the screen that may not even be there on any given play. So it gets in your head psychologically as well. I thought that was incredibly intelligent, them doing that there early in the game to screw with the Tennessee squad.
Well, they also saw San Diego State throw a screen on the first play for 75 yards or whatever.
Well, I mean, that was like 8 weeks before, and that was the worst play in Ohio State history. But
again, you know what? It goes back to this, and I would say when you go against a team, and again, we're the number 1 rushing defense in the country. So again, attack the weaknesses, right? So get the box players out there in space, right, pursuing the football, like you said, Bob, wear them down to then try to sprinkle in some of those runs. But how do we negate that? When they decided to go pass or whatever, we got pressure on the quarterback. I think AJ had 2 sacks. He sacked his brother-in-law multiple times. And Laura's there, like sad on one face, happy
one
on
after another. Schlegs.
Yeah, no doubt. So, here's the thing to me. I just look at this Ohio State team, and going back even last week or a couple weeks ago to the Michigan game, when we condensed the formation and put a really good defense in a box, we struggle with it because we were running the zone. I think when you have younger interior offensive linemen, the gap scheme is going to be vital because our running backs are good enough and fast enough to hit the hole and find that seam. That's what you got to do to be able to go get to the second level. But to your point, though, when you expand them now, our wide receivers also block very, very well on the perimeter. I don't necessarily like the tight end screens out of it, but I do like, guess what? Jeremiah Smith in space, make one guy miss, boom, 75 yards, touchdown. That can happen. Or an Emeka, or a Carnell. And that's going to be the difference in this game. It's the breadth of our weapons, and can we utilize them to full capacity?
Absolutely. All right. We're going to take another quick break here because I want to get into make sure we got plenty of time for some of your questions, comments, and tailgate talk by Real Truck, which is coming up. First, we've got headlines. So we're going to dive into that. And there's some comments by Nick Saban that I really want to get into about where we're at right now in college football and what that ultimately looks like moving forward. Here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. Welcome back into Headline Schlags. I'm going to throw this up here, Pat. And I mean, I love Nick Saban like getting engaged on Twitter, even though this isn't, it's the 7-time national champion, not actually Nick Saban. But this is interesting, like the comments about what's going on with some of the players down there at Alabama. And when you start talking about Jalen Mbakwe, what's going on with him, the freshman corner, it says, so Bama native, played a ton as a freshman, supposed to have been offered a 7-figure deal without even getting in the portal. Happy for him. It's sickening under the current format of college football, kind of how it operates. It's free agency for every player every year. And that's the issue is, if college, that's why Braves, we'll talk about Braves when they come back to college. Like it's not going to fly. It's not something that he's going to want to do when every year you have to renegotiate it. And curious now with the revenue coming from the school Schlags, how that ultimately is going to work. Everybody now has a little bit more money, at least in theory. And so you're just getting people kind of throwing some feelers out to players, and guys are getting in the portal all the time. And so if you're an offensive lineman, an offensive tackle, Schlags, this is the biggest deal. Like you start and you're decent, dude, get in the portal, see what you can get. And the asking price from people I've talked to, like everybody wants at least $750. Like if you're a decent offensive tackle, not someone who's great, not some remarkable player. And listen, if you can, and I asked one of the guys, like, will guys get that? He goes, someone will pay these guys that. If you're like one of the top 7 or 8 offensive tackles in the portal, who's a proven starter, maybe not at a Alabama or an Ohio State or a Michigan or a Georgia, but if you're at a mid-tier school like a Northwestern, a Minnesota, maybe like an NC State or something like that, and you started last year and you're pretty decent, okay, you get in there because you're a known quantity and someone's going to pay you that.
That's the biggest thing is now with the portal and guys of all positions being able to just hop in. I'm talking about like whether they're starters or not, right? If you are, that's even better. I mean, obviously it helped me because I had 2 years at Air Force and I had success while I was there and kind of was able to know what I was about before I came to Ohio State or the other schools that were recruiting me. The problem that I have with what Coach Saban said was the fact that people, again, where are the rules? There's so much gray. People can just communicate off the cuff to a handler, somebody that's working their NIL deals, right? Off the side. Will he take that? Boom. Here's a call. Will you just potentially go there if they gave you this? Hell yeah. Boom. I'm in the portal. Right. But that also goes into that. Where does it fit in the culture? What is the guy about? Is he just about the money or is he about the development in the team? Like all these things have to coincide to be the right fit, because I'll say this, man, you miss wrong in the portal, you have a Florida State issue, right? Other teams can win it and do it the right way, I feel. And you really don't know how it's going to pan out until it happens next season. The biggest problem is you have 2 portals. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it's just sickening that this is going on right now in college football while you still have the season going. There is no roster management. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, it's tough to kind of figure out, and it's tough to navigate and find. And so Ohio State's doing the best they can. I believe they got a commitment out of an offensive tackle yesterday. I put that in the chat, Schlags. You didn't update the sheet. So
shoot, I didn't miss
you're too concerned with dressing like Buddy the Elf, and then not being able to get logged on to the computer. But let's throw up Chip Kelly's comments up there as well with what he thinks happened during Michigan and kind of where they're looking forward, Pat. If you can toss that up, that'd be tremendous. Because Chip came out and was talking. Obviously, the coaches had some media availability over the last couple of weeks. And Chip Kelly said the Ohio State, they've studied the Michigan game several times, which I think is good. It's courtesy of Chase Brown. Over the past couple of weeks, Kelly said the coaches didn't put the offense in position to be successful. Coaches understand what it will take to be able to do that moving forward. And just like we talked about some of the screens, you've talked about some of the player movement, maybe being able to put some different guys in different spots and how that ultimately is going to impact everything. But, everyone said like the coaches kind of skirted responsibility. I think they completely understand what what happened. It's just a function of now you've got to figure out a solution to be able to solve that problem, because there's a lot of similarities right there. If we got it, we can go ahead and play that, Pat. That'd be tremendous.
I think this game's different. Every game takes on their own identity, but obviously you go back through your last game all the time and then look at what you did well and then what you didn't do well, and then how do we correct that moving forward. And that's part of the process. And so because there's been so much time between the games, you've had a good chance. You're not allowed to go on the road and recruit. Normally after your last game, you're on the road and you're scrambling, and a lot of different, you actually don't hit the road till January now with the new recruiting schedule. So we've dissected the last game, understand what we have to do to play better in that game, because we didn't play at our best. We didn't put our players in position the plays that they needed to make in that game. And that falls on us.
Pretty much took ownership right there, didn't he, Bob? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Like, nobody's devaluing the game. Nobody's not taking ownership. They did. They didn't put their players in the right position to succeed. And then also, when you're a player, you have to go out there and execute. If you're running a freaking draw and your job is to block that freaking guy, and run the daggum draw. You know what I mean? Because it was there, like, just like stuff like that, right? And even when you go down and look at Ohio State's defense in that game, I told you, man, it came down to three plays that were over 25 yards. Two of them were. One was 18-yard first down that extended a drive on 3rd and long. 3 plays, right? And you still held them to under 250. Only other time was with us in 05. They took ownership. You can't wallow in it. You got to turn the page, Bob Seger style, and you got to go beat Tennessee at home. And again, Tennessee's coming in. They're 2 losses on the year. Where were they? At Georgia, at Arkansas, right? So again, what are their strengths? Stop the run, affect the quarterback. Pretty easy on defense. Lathan laid it out there, right? Win on 3rd down. Give your offense opportunities to play. And then offensively, right? Utilize what Ryan and Chips did earlier in the year and what they talked about, utilizing tempo as a weapon. You can't run tempo all the time, people, because why? If you go 3 and out, you've only eliminated 50 seconds on the clock, and your defense is right back out there. You got to play complementary football. That's what it's about. So you got to get the running game going. But does the running game start because we got the passing game going? That's to be determined. Those are the things that you're going to see this week and that you're excited to see within the first 2 to 3 drives of this game.
All right. Well, that's it for headlines. Coming up next, we got Tailgate Talk. We answer your questions, comments. Here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Building a home for the people who are worth it. Stepping out, throwing in a line, and dropping the tailgate for a picnic. And finding far-off campsites with the people you're closest to. Upgrade your truck, Jeep, or Bronco with over 1 million parts and accessories. And bring your truck to life. Real Truck.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And now we've got our Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Listen, folks, still a week out of Christmas. Head to realtruck.com. Bring your truck, Jeep, Bronco to life, just like Schlegs and I did.
It's alive!
They've got stuff for the inside, the outside. That's interior and exterior, folks. Everything you need right there. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's for family, kids, whoever it could be. And here's the best part, Schlegs. If you go there and spend $100, use promo code Bobby at checkout, Poof David Copperfield, you're going to get that free Real Truck hat that our guy Schlegs is rocking right now. So be sure to check them out. All right, Schlegs, I just randomly said, let's go to some of the comments. We had a frothy comments and questions section from Monday. So let's dive on in there. We'll start at the top here, Pat. And I'm going to have one, Schlegs, that we're going to save for Thursday or Friday show. I had one that was sent in to me. So I'm excited.
Love these comments.
I love the comments. But we'll start at the top here with Anthony Alberti. Who the hell cares how many fans, Tennessee fans are going to be there? Ohio State is a better talented team, more talented team. We have the upper hand advantages of most spots. We're going to kick some ass. So
I like you, Anthony. Let's freaking go, baby.
Yeah, he followed it up. Let the Tennessee fans cry, talk crap. Who cares? We'll show them on the field Saturday. Shut them up quick. Followed up Schlegs by Danny Badnia. Tennessee 27, OSU 13. Failure. Are you surprised by the amount of Buckeye fans that think Ohio State's a 7-point favorite? Now, I know that they were big favorites against Michigan, but the fact that they're going to lose to Tennessee, given the fact that Vegas and most of the country thinks they're going to win, it's a very interesting paradox that we're seeing.
It's almost, I mean, it's just like hate for the sake of hating because you lost to Michigan. It's like they just don't know that you still have a season. You know, and again, nobody's devaluing the game. The comments were, this is a different era, meaning that game is still the number one thing that we got to do. Do we need to make some changes? Maybe our approach, maybe the game plan, maybe not playing it with fear? 100%, guys. But again, you're also one of the 12 out of 132 college football programs that are playing in the first ever extended college football playoff. And guess what? Your job is to do. Go out there and beat Tennessee at home. That's it. To Anthony's comment, who cares how many people are in there? Just go handle your business. Handle your business, your business.
I was waiting for that. All right, here's another good one. It's a long one coming from P. Berry 2734. That comment made by RGC Bus at the 4750 mark, this was in regard to Monday's show, is ridiculous. I've been a damn fan at 5, and I'm 50. I'm a real fan, not some crybaby softy that craps on players. I give the NIL. We have every right to be pissed and frustrated. The coaching was nauseating. RD was outcoached by a first-year guy in the shoe with a 6-5 team. The fans had to come to Jesus moment because of the game plan and this roster. Every podcast I listened to was completely shocked and taken back. It does suck to lose our rivals for another year. Now we have to go up to Ann Arbor and take 4 straight L's. This was the worst loss in school history because of the situation. Now the program is in a very rocky place. The good news is that we still have a shot to win the national title, and logical fans have turned to UT this week. There's some real dummies that just hate because his logical fans realize and are shocked that we are in this position. I hope you get it wasn't about me pissing and moaning. It was shocking and unreal. It's time to go. And TBC, take care of business. That starts with UT Saturday night. It's always 100% go Bucks, Schlegs. Lots of fun emojis.
Love that, man. Love that. And that's, guys, listen, this is how Bob and I do it, right? We don't bash on players because why? We played. I coached, right? I'm probably one of the only guys that's actually played in college and played in the NFL and coached in both. So I'm never going to do that. I also know the situation, but I like to be a realist. And I'll say what needs to be said. My thing is always this. I will always support these guys through thick and thin because I'm a freaking Buckeye. That's what it is. So they have an opportunity here, not necessarily to right or wrong, but honestly, to play loose, man, to play it fast, hard, and violent. That's all I want to see, right? And we've seen that this year. But I just want to see a complete game. I thought we saw one versus Indiana. That was probably the most shocking, besides the fact that we were that, highly favored group. We had the same thing when they came to us in 2004, Bob, and we beat them 37-21. It can happen in a rivalry game. That's why I was shocked, because we actually played a complete game versus Indiana, and we looked very, very different versus Michigan in that game. But guess what, man? You're the 8th seed. Let's freaking go. And we won the national championship back in 14. We were the 4th seed. 10 years later, we're 8. Make the run, baby. I'm with you, man. Go Bucks.
Here we go. We got one more question to get you out of here on Schlegs. We've got a bunch of entitled crybaby-ass fans. Ohio State, I mean, you can't really ask for nothing more every year. They give us a great team. I mean, what else do they want? They're going to go out there Saturday and kick Tennessee's ass. And I think that's the sentiment. I don't know, honestly, Schlegs, if it has to be close. Tennessee's good. Samuel's a running back. They're talented, man. They've got some really good players.
They do.
This Ohio State defense is very good. I'm excited to kind of see what they can do, and I'm excited to see what this offense is going to be able to put out there in a cold and frigid evening. All right, that's it for our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by Real Truck. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the show with Schlegs' parting thoughts. before we get to the parting thoughts, someone put a comment in about, I don't know, a week and a half ago, sometime between now and the Michigan game. It was an unbelievable comment, 5-part question. We're going to get to it today. I can no longer find it in the comments of past shows. I'm going to look some more. If whoever did that, if you want to throw that back in there for us, that'd be tremendous. I'll throw it out there again tomorrow because it was really good. There was 5 really good points about all kinds of stuff Ohio State. So please re-add that. I meant to pull it
Re-add
out.
it, man. Put it back in.
All right, Schlegs, you got 30 seconds.
You know what? Here, real quick. Seth McLaughlin, man. Like, that dude, he's hurt, right? Didn't get to finish his year the way he wanted. Won the Remington, first-team All-American. Transfer, all Buckeye. He's out there coaching his guys, and I just hit him up, just words of encouragement the other night. Hey, man, I just appreciate what you're doing. Right, because I remember when I graduated, I was literally coaching up Coach James. Right, I appreciate what Seth has done for this team. Being a one-year guy, it just speaks volumes to the culture they have and the young men that they have on the team.
Absolutely, go Bucks! Live 12:30 tomorrow. We'll be back at you.